Things outdoors. Take a look at what's going on in Boston, and the Weather Channel's Jim Cantori is kind enough to join us again to take a look at what's been happening in the city. It has been a wild day in Boston, and Jim, we haven't seen one like this in years here in downtown.
Well, we sure haven't. This one's going down in the record books, I think, Eric, by the time all is said and done. It's just a whiteout down here. You mentioned how we're kind of ebbing and flowing in and out of the more intense snow, but still the damage has been done. With Logan coming in at 14.5 now, all we got to do is, clear 20 and top 5 in terms of a daily snowfall here, as you know, and have been talking about. I think the weirdest thing is just not to see anybody out here on a Saturday. I mean, when's the last time that happened, right? But today is obviously a good way to stay home and a good reason to stay home. This is really reminiscent of 2015. Just a light, airy snow that's blowing and drifting around. The difference is we're probably not going to get 70 inches in 4 weeks. So there's room to put this. And I think that's going to help certainly with the cleanup effort and the fact that we had 900 pieces of equipment out here for about 850 miles worth of city roads. That always gets it done. And these guys have not stopped. It has been nonstop with the plows. And, just the fact that we can see, the wind is helping, get us to bare ground. But they've just been nonstop in terms of getting up and down these roads here. You look upstate. We get a little bit more visibility now. Certainly you can make out the definition of the building, but what else do you see? A plow. There hasn't been one shot that I've done today that has not been a plow in the vicinity, or I haven't heard a plow drop. So they have been absolutely on it, all over it. So let's just say we have 14, 15 inches in the city. How do you find that? I mean, I walk out here, you go from nothing to a little bit of a drift that's just under knee high. All right, Eric? So, yeah, this is more like it. You think, oh, wow, this isn't 14. This is more like 18 inches here. But then you walk down again into another shallow part where it's only about 6 inches high. Yeah, but it's deep out here in the city.
So many of our viewers have been asking the same question. They're saying, how do I measure this? Because, like what you're showing there, you go in and out of these drifts. It's such a powdery snowfall. We take a look at the record books, and it might be up there, but it's almost impossible to get an accurate number with the way this is blowing around.
Yeah, and especially, the farther we go toward the water and the less, anything to block, the wind, that's exactly going to be the case. So you take an average measurement. As you know, you go around 3 different spots that are less wind blown, and you hope you come up with something. But certainly from what we've seen from a radar perspective, and certainly comparing it with other totals, now that we're up here closing in on 2 feet, we're not done. As you know, we still have several more hours of this. Do yourselves a favor, do your city a favor, stay off the roads, and we'll be back in business by the time we roll into Monday, I think, for most areas.
Yeah. Jim, you know how it goes. We get these storms where we get over 2 feet of snowfall, and there's some people who are probably watching who are thinking, you know what? Maybe I want to be a meteorologist someday. Maybe some kids are tuning in and saying, hey, there's that Jim Cantori guy, and he covers all these big storms. And we know that these types of storms create more meteorologists as they watch it happen. Where does this one kind of stand for you? And do you have a memorable storm, one of the ones that really sticks out to you that made you want to be a meteorologist? This got me thinking today watching this.
That's a great point, Eric. We do see that. This is kind of the birthing of meteorological careers for young people. And the blizzard of '78 was mine. No question about it. I was in Vermont. It was a big winter. We already had snow on the ground. And as a 14-year-old kid, I'm looking at piles of snow, all right, that like down the road that are like 20 feet high. So I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm in snow tunnels here. I just thought that was so cool. And from that point on, I could never sleep at night when there was a forecast for snow. And if you remember Bruce Schwegler, he always had some pretty big snowfall forecasts.
Yeah, he liked to get into the storms, no question about that. And a lot of people remember Bruce here on WVZ. It's usually the snowstorms in New England. We always say that the Northeast breeds more meteorologists than any other area of the country because of days like today.
Yeah. It is. This is absolutely one of those days. Even people walking around, people came up here from Florida. I met a couple that came up from Tampa, Florida, just for the storm. Another couple from southern Mississippi just to experience a storm like this. So, that's the beauty of this. We do all these weather events. Some of them are tornadic, some of them are floods, some of them are hurricanes, and they're horrible. They ruin people's lives forever. But typically in a situation like this, where we don't have big storm surge and big loss of life, it's pleasant. I think it's a pleasant experience for most. Unless, of course, you're one of those 100,000 that are without power right now. That's not too pleasant.
Yeah, there are always two sides of the coin there for sure, but the winter storms tend to provide a little bit more levity compared to some of those other events like you mentioned, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, things of that nature. And I know I talked to a couple of people. One of our friends, meteorologist down in South Carolina, Ed Petrosky, is visiting as well. He did a kind of a work swap. He said, hey, I want to go up to Boston and cover a snowstorm. I haven't experienced a blizzard before. So throughout the community of meteorologists as well, there's people coming in from other parts of the country who just want to experience. I don't know how many of our viewers share that same feeling today, but I bet at least a few do.
I think after 2015, people didn't want to see another snowflake, but it's been a minute, as we talked about, Eric, so maybe everybody's ready again to embrace the winter and the snow.
As they say, lean into the season, lean into winter. We got to do that on a day like today. Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel.
Absolutely.
Jim, appreciate the time. It's great to see you, buddy, and keep up the great reporting down there in Boston. It's quite the scene.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Thank you.
All right, so that's Jim from the Weather Channel, the Can Man, checking out the sights of Boston. We all know that when there's a big storm brewing, you take a look at where Jim might be heading, and you know that's going to be one of the bullseyes. And today, Boston, the bullseye. As forecast, you know, we get to eastern Mass, that band. Some towns going over 2 feet, maybe 3 feet before the day is done in a couple of spots. Elisa and David, it's a pretty...